A wonderful session. And then, if there is any question, please post it to answer. Now we will take up our next guest speaker, Naveen Samala. Welcome, Naveen. Thank you very much for joining the session again. Nice to see you. Hope all is well.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, all well. I hope you're able to hear me well, right?
Yeah, we can. I can hear you very nicely. Nice to see you
Okay,
again.
excellent.
Smiling.
So you will
Yeah,
have a little bit of noise here because I came to a different
it's
venue
okay.
here. I'm not at my home. Okay,
No
so
problem.
bear with me if there is some noise. Okay, but I'll
No
try
problem.
to be as loud as possible so that
No problem. Let me
noise
give.
around me not as dominating. Okay,
It's okay. Let me give introduction to this to the participants.
sure.
Naveen is talking today on implementing lean on optimizing supply chain processes. Naveen Samala is a seasoned IT leader with a diverse skill set encompassing business transfer development, application development, IT services delivery, product process, and program management. He's also into a lot of other things, which maybe you can speak on it. He's a fantastic speaker, and also he has a channel which is very popular. You can give brief about that, Naveen, and then
Sure.
you can. Yeah.
All right, all right. So thank you. Thank you so much. So I work as a global lean leader for a connected commerce company. That's my day job. And apart from that, I'm really passionate about sharing my knowledge and wisdom with the world. And with that intent, I started my own podcast called The Guiding Voice way back in 2020. It is a pandemic baby. However, it is no longer a baby. It has become a major platform now, spanning into six languages overall. So apart from English, we are available in Telugu, Hindi, Kannada, Marathi, and Gujarati. So I'm on a mission to shape the careers and lives of millions across the globe. So I'm passionate about developing people. That is one of the reasons why I started the Guiding Voice. And apart from that, I have authored three books also, out of which my latest book, 69 Naked Truths, has become an international bestseller because I've projected my real life experience out of last 40 years of life and highlighted nuances of personal relations, relationship with money, professional relationships, so on and so forth. So you can do check it out, 69 Naked Truths, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn just by searching for Naveen Samala. So with that, without further ado, I will get started. Before I bring up my presentation and all, I wanted to check the pulse of the room, just in case. Have you guys heard about Lean already? And if so, are you implementing Lean within your organization? And in case if you haven't heard about Lean, I just wanted to understand the competency or the current understanding level so that I can tune my session accordingly. Of course, I do have slides, but instead of slides, if at all you have questions, probably I'll take a couple of them first before we get into that formal presentation. So, do you have any questions as such?
Yeah, please post questions because I know it is there is so many people attending. It's they have to post it in LinkedIn, sorry, YouTube. So YouTube
Yeah.
conversation channel is not something user friendly like any other
Okay. No
platform.
worries.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they,
While we wait for while we wait for responses and all, I have
mm,
a simple question. Like we place orders on Amazon and then Flipkart or any other e-commerce platforms, right? And they commit to us anywhere between 1 to 2 day delivery or 2 to 4 day delivery, or in some cases 6 to 8 day delivery. Why? Why and how do you think they are able to commit to that delivery? And in majority cases, especially if you look at Amazon or Flipkart, they meet the lead time, right? And they deliver as per the commitment, and sometimes they deliver ahead of their time, ahead of the promised time, right? So lean plays a critical role in terms of coming up with the expected shipping time, right? And likewise, though we are not aware, many organizations, even like Amazon, Flipkart, everybody is implementing lean. They may be expressing it, they may not be expressing it, but right now if you look at some of the lean principles and concepts, they're already imbibed into our day-to-day life. And that's why once I start talking about different concepts, of course I'm going to touch scratch the surface of the entire lean implementation within the supply chain organization. However, you will start realizing, saying that yes, it is true, saying that yes, I have come across this kind of thing, right? So that is about the context setting part. And in fact, organizations that embrace lean methodology and also instill lean culture within the organizations, within their company, amongst their employees and all, right, they go a long way. Because any organization that is embracing lean philosophy or management framework, whatever you want to call it, then it is going to create that sense of customer experience amongst the employees. So employees will be obsessed about customer experience and all. And some of you might recollect what is the tagline of Amazon, right? Or what is their mission statement? They wanted to be the Earth's most customer-centric organization, and Amazon displays that particular attitude in many ways. For example, if you have ordered a product which is returnable, they simply take the product back without any questions, right? And if you look at the way they have optimized and the way they have enhanced their supply chain, right, it is top notch. And in fact, a lot of automation is also implemented. And likewise, of course, these companies are very popular and we get to know more about them, but behind the scenes many organizations are already implementing lean, especially within supply chain. And why do you think lean is very important in supply chain organization? Because today time is more than money, and there is fierce competition, immense competition among different companies, organizations, because they want customers, and customers have more options to choose from. In case if I am a company and there is a customer and I'm not meeting my customer expectations, customer will simply go away, customer will be ruthless. However, the same customer, if you are giving him or her great experience, they are going to bring us more customers, right? So that's why embracing lean is very, very important, especially in supply chain, because supply chain is going to hit the customer directly or indirectly, most cases directly. Think about Amazon delivering a product at the doorstep, uh, right? The moment we place the order and they commit, say, 1 to 2 day delivery or 2 to 3 day delivery, and we receive the product at the doorstep. Imagine if the product is damaged. Don't you feel frustrated? Absolutely. Imagine the product got delayed. Maybe let's assume you are traveling to a foreign country and you have ordered a sweater, because sweaters are very expensive in, say, airports or in the foreign country that you are visiting. And tomorrow is your flight and you are expecting a product today evening, and suddenly that product did not arrive. Don't you think you will be frustrated? Absolutely, you will be frustrated, right? So here, why I am referring to this particular scenario, because it is one of the examples which is closely related to supply chain. And when I say supply chain, there are many facets of supply chain, right? From procurement or sourcing the raw material, manufacturing, and once the end product is manufactured and it has to be delivered to the customer's doorstep through delivery partners or channel partners, and likewise. So in this entire process, customer is somebody who is getting impacted. And if customer delight is missing, or if customer expectation is missing, then companies are going to pay a huge penalty. Do you agree with that? Like, can you relate to what I am referring to? And in fact, it is applicable to some food delivery apps like Zomato or Swiggy or any other apps that we are using. So, which means somebody is expected to deliver a product on time. Let's assume I'm extremely hungry and I ordered food from a particular restaurant, and, and the app was and the platform was showing as 30 to 45 minutes ETA. But however, after 10 minutes, I got a notification saying that due to some unavoidable situations, your order is getting delayed by another 30 minutes. Do you have an option to get refund there? No. However, you have to bear with that. But do you think customer will be happy with that kind of scenario? Customer will excuse us once or twice, but not more than that. In case if it is repeating as a pattern, then simply customer goes to social media and posts about that particular incident, because bad always spreads faster than good. Because in fact, I'm a very good customer, I'm a loyal customer to certain companies like Samsung, Apple, and at the same time I may not have had great experience with other companies. Once upon a time I had a very bad experience with an internet service provider, and the moment I got that bad experience, I simply went on and I tried to reach their customer service and get the issue addressed. However, they were not able to address the issue on time. So I waited patiently for about 6 months, and still the issue is not resolved. You know what I did? I became now the good customer has become an irate customer, and I went on to Twitter. Now it is called as X, and I tagged that company and also Consumer Forum, saying that the XYZ company is harassing me. Okay, with all the marketing calls and all, though I have disconnected their services and all, please act on it. Within 2 days I got response. So companies never ever want to get into that kind of situations if at all they are embracing lean. So now let me start sharing my screen, and I'll talk a few nuances about how lean can be implemented within the supply chain scope. Okay, and I'll talk about some real time examples as well. And in case Abdul sir, if anybody has any questions, feel free to interrupt me. And I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, yes, yes.
Can I get an? Okay. All right. So, why you want to implement lean, right? And one disclaimer I will tell you. In fact, it is a very good disclaimer. Lean is not something which is applicable to a particular domain or a particular industry. Lean is a transferable skill, because if you talk about my own lean journey, I started my corporate journey with the General Electric, and I was part of industrial sales B2B, and I earned my black belt certification there. After that, after spending 11 years in that organization, I moved to a different company called CDK Global, which is into automotive retail dealer solutions and also digital marketing. There I started implementing lean, and at the same time that company has sponsored me for my master black belt certification in lean six sigma from Indian Statistical Institute. So I implemented lean there as well, and after that I joined another organization which is CDK's erstwhile parent company ADP, which is into payroll, and there also I implemented lean, and now I am working for a connected commerce company. Here also I am implementing lean. So the summary is simple. Lean is a philosophy which changes our mindset in becoming more customer centric, and most importantly, it will help us in enhancing the efficiency by reducing waste anywhere. Of course, today, since we are in the supply chain summit, I'm going to talk about the lean implementation. How do we optimize the supply chain processes and how it is going to yield us benefits in logistics. However, please note that it can be applied in any function, in any domain, in any industry. It is a very good skill to have, and in fact, to be honest, these days we are not finding many certified professionals. So, and if you look at technology, okay, the reason why people ask me, like, why did you choose lean though you are from IT, why did you shift into business side and all, which which doesn't mean that I'm not fascinated about technology. I am fascinated about contemporary technologies. I experiment with it. However, I'm super curious about process improvement because it directly touches the customer experience part. We can easily see that particular differences, and moreover, if you're part of a lean organization or a lean team within your company, you will get exposed to so many projects which otherwise you will not have exposure to. That is another reason. And other thing which I wanted to tell you is technology changes every now and then, right? However, this lean philosophy and all, right, it is going to get upgraded. However, the underlying principles will be same, and it is one thing which you can keep it with you forever as an arsenal. And there is huge demand now, and at the same time you can expect same demand in future also, especially nowadays industry is having scarcity of certified lean professionals and all. So if somebody is really interested, I would strongly recommend you to pursue that path. Okay, so on that note, let's move forward and talk about what is the purpose of this lean implementation in supply chain. You know, if you look at any organization, especially some enterprises which were established say 50 years ago, 100 years ago, or if they have a legacy of 150 years, 200 years, 250 years and all, they might be having hundreds of thousands of employees across say hundreds of countries, say 180 countries across 200 countries, so on and so forth. One problem with those kind of enterprises, in case if they are not continuously checking, if they are not continuously driving lean implementation, there is a high probability wherein waste is getting accumulated in the organization. Maybe due to bureaucracy, maybe because of frequent organization changes, or maybe nobody is really performing any scrutiny, so on and so forth. But however, it is not just restricted to large organizations. It is also applicable to small and medium scale organizations as well. So by embracing lean, what we will do is we will be able to eliminate the waste. Now my question is, what is a waste? In general, if we are in India, like if somebody is in Hyderabad, we know this GHMC has distributed those blue and green dustbins, right? So green dustbin is for dry waste and blue dustbin is for the wet waste kind of thing, and wherein every household is expected to segregate that waste and give it to the trash collector in the morning. How many of us are doing that diligently? I'll be honest, we don't use those two separate bins separately, and our maid uses only one bin and everything is put, and she dumps it at the drum, okay, which is placed near the within the ground floor of our apartment, and that person comes and picks it up. So whatever we are putting in the trash, right, that is waste. What is waste? Something which you don't need. Similarly, in the organization context also, there will be some waste, and that waste could be any of the 8 types, okay, which I'm going to discuss in the upcoming slides. However, specific with regard to supply chain, there are three of them predominantly. One is overproduction, waiting, and the other one is defect. What is overproduction? If you are producing more than required, or if you are producing before time, right, that is overproduction. In simple terms, okay, I ordered, okay, for example, I was expecting somebody to deliver a presentation, okay, every month an employee is expected to deliver a presentation, and maybe within my mind I thought, okay, this presentation is no longer required from next month onward. But this person, without checking with me, has already delivered that presentation by spending say 20 hours or 30 hours. This is a day-to-day example that happens in the organizations, wherein you are sending some information which is not required by somebody. In simple terms, you are producing a product which nobody is going to buy. There is no customer, right? In that case, it is a overproduction. Next is waiting. All of us wait. All of us hate to wait, right? And nowadays, time is more than money. That's why these apps like Zeptos and Instamart, all of them, right, and Blinkit have become so hit, because we don't want to wait for the product to arrive. And similarly, if you have dependency with some XYZ team, or say another team member, and if that team member is not sending you the information, what happens to us as a consumer of that information? We get frustrated, right? And similarly, let's assume you ordered a product from XYZ company, and that product is not delivered. It is resulting in waiting. Similarly, in the supply chain context, you have ordered raw materials from your supplier, and supplier has got delayed. However, you already have production order, and you are able to manufacture certain units and supposed to deliver it to the customer. Again, you are waiting, and since you are waiting for the raw material, the entire production line might stop, and overall it is hindering your customers experience, right? And the next one is defect. I ordered a product on Amazon, okay, and say some shoes of size 7, but I received them size of 8. Then what happens? Simply I will return that product, okay, for refund or replacement. Imagine one thing: if I'm replacing, if I'm returning that particular item, don't you think it is a loss to Amazon? Definitely it is a loss. Why? Because whatever the cost that they have incurred in terms of shipping it and taking it back, right? That is something is a loss. And another example, let's assume you are manufacturing a pen. Due to some defect, this ink is leaking. Can you sell it to the customer? No, because it is a defect. So likewise, the defects are also very costly, and these kind of overproduction, waiting, and defects, right? They are going to hinder the efficiency of supply chain. That's why by embracing lean, you can eliminate the waste. And apart from that, in lean organization, similar to agile, in fact, I would say most of the agile principles that are used in the market today, like Kanban, right, and then daily stand up, and all those retrospection, right? Those are available in lean also. So which means in lean, more more focus or emphasis is given to collaboration of the team members. For example, in our organization, we drive Kaizen event every month. And that is not, when I say Kaizen event, it's not a small event. It's a 5-day event, which is outcome focused event, wherein beforehand, like 2 to 3 months prior to that particular Kaizen boot camp itself, all the preparation happens, wherein the business leaders will come across our supply chain. They come and they share some problem statements, and we'll work with the teams to refine those problem statements and come up with the project charters. And during this entire process, we are establishing that particular camaraderie amongst the team members. And once we have the project charters ready, then a schedule is prepared, wherein all the stakeholders, okay, whoever is part of that particular upstream and downstream systems, and whoever has a stake, they're all called together and put up in a physical location, a single physical location, and they start brainstorming, okay, in terms of how the process is working today, and without questioning or without blaming anybody. And after that, collectively they create the process map in terms of the as is functionality, and afterwards they are going to question each and every step, whether it is required, not required, whether it is value added, not value added. And in this entire process, everybody feels as an owner, because we tend to create that culture of, hey, let us work together as a team and enhance the customer experience. It is not about blame game, wherein, okay, upstream system is doing well, downstream system is not doing well. No, lean absolutely recommends cross functional collaboration, and to be able to enhance that particular communication, and most importantly, decision making also has to happen then and there itself, so that during that particular 5-day event, even the senior leaders are also available, and their intervention is also requested as and when required. For example, in one of the events, we found that there are certain safety hazards, and to implement that safety requirements in place, it costs about 2 lakh rupees. And since it is in Bangalore, I'm referring to something which happened recently in Bangalore. And what happened is, the plant head immediately spoke to the management. In fact, the managing director, the owner of the company, was there, and he immediately approved the budget, and within next day they were able to procure the items, right? So faster response is also something which is possible by and by embracing lean. And most importantly, in lean world, we believe in continuous improvement culture. It is not like, okay, you are coming and doing some activity, reducing 30% waste, or reducing cycle time, reducing defects and all. No, we are not done and dusted there. We are going to come again after 3 months or after 6 months. And since we are fostering this CI mindset amongst the employees, employees are continuously challenging themselves in terms of, how can I be better, how can I do something great to the organization. That is the beauty of continuous improvement culture. And another important aspect is the agility and competitiveness. As I told earlier, today we are in a fiercely competitive world, and companies can rarely take the risk of pissing off with the customer experience. In case if that happens, they are going to lose the customers. So lean will enhance the agility, means quickness, like nimble, like you are always focusing on, can I reduce the lead time, can I reduce the cycle time, can I make sure that I am performing on par, I am doing very well, so that I can be certain, right, I can deal with uncertainty, right? So these are the factors which will enhance the importance of lean in supply chain. So I'll take a quick pause to see if there are any questions, or if you're okay with my pace, or if you have any feedback, or else I can move forward.
Yeah. Please move forward. I think its a pace is very nice. Yeah. I'm watching. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, if at all you are planning to implement lean within your supply chain organization, right? What are some diagnostic questions that you need to focus on, right? You need to map the value stream. What is a value stream? Value stream is nothing but end to end process map in a way, but process map simply articulates the number of steps. However, in case of value stream, you will also get to know the wait time or cycle time related to that particular step. So if you're creating this value stream right from supplier, input, process, output, and customer, means say what are the raw materials that you are picking up from the customer, from your supplier, and how are you going to use those raw materials to be able to transform those raw materials into your products, and how are you shipping it. So entire process is captured along with the timelines, be it cycle time, what is the wait time, how much of inventory is there, then that will become your value stream. So once you create this value stream, then the advantage is that we will get to know, okay, what is the step which is a culprit, which is having so much of lead time or so much of wait time. Then we will first fix in terms of reducing the wait time, or maybe combining two or three steps so that you can reduce this particular combined cycle time. Or you might never know, there is so much of inventory, and one problem with inventory is going to hide the other types of waste. In supply chain world, inventory is one of the, again, worst types of waste. First worst type of waste is overproduction, because you have spent all your money, effort, time, everything, and your product got unsold. And defect is another type of waste. In coming to the inventory, let's assume you have bought some raw material and you have put up the stock. That is nothing but your inventory. And suddenly the raw material cost has come down. Don't you think you are going to incur financial losses? That is one thing. Second aspect, don't you think there is a space, okay, which is being used by that particular inventory, that is occupied? And think about how much square feet of space is occupied. And think about, if at all the raw material has an expiry date, and if it is not consumed or if it is not utilized on time. Likewise, there are so many side effects of inventory. And one other thing about inventories, it is going to hide all the waste beneath it, right? So that's why we have to implement Kanban or Convip kind of thing, which I'm going to talk in a while if time permits. But those are something which will help us in terms of maintaining optimal inventory levels. And next aspect is root cause analysis. Like, you can use tools like 5 eyes or fishbone diagrams. For example, I'll give you one simple hypothetical example. Okay, I've ordered a product on some XYZ company, some e-commerce portal, and they delivered the product 24 hours late. Then I'll ask the question, why did you deliver the product 24 hours late? Then they will say, the order information was captured incorrectly. Why did you incorrectly capture the order information? Then they will say, the validation of the address is not properly implemented in the system. Then I'll ask again, why the validation was not put up properly in the in that put implement or implemented properly in the system. Then they will say requirements were not defined properly. So which means here, during the requirement gathering itself, right, emphasis was not given in terms of understanding the customer requirements and making sure that the address needs to be perfect, right? Likewise, this is 5 eyes is a simple technique wherein you are repeatedly asking questions. Like, for example, I'll take another example of an employee who is expected to attend the meeting on time at 8 o'clock, and that person got delayed and he came at 9 o'clock. I'll ask, hey, why did you come late to office? He says, I got stuck in office. I got stuck in traffic. Why did you get stuck in traffic? Because I started at the peak time. Why did you start at the peak time? Because I slept late in the night. Why did you sleep late at night? Because I partied hard. Why did you party hard? Because it was my friend's birthday. Now, friend's birthday is the root cause, and we are not telling that this person not to celebrate birthday. He could have planned in such a way that he could have spent little bit of time there instead of spending whole midnight, or he could have convinced his friend to
celebrate the party over a weekend or something. Likewise, will be more and more workarounds which will come. But overall, by repeatedly questioning, you'll get to know the root cause and the why, and the reason why it is called as 5 why, because scientifically, in 90% or over 90% of the cases, the root cause will be arrived by the fifth why. But you never know. Sometimes you might get to know the root cause at third why only, sometimes fourth why only, and sometimes it may go beyond 5 whys also. But when you are questioning, we need to make sure that you are asking the right question. That is very, very important. Because if you are not asking the right question, then there is a chance wherein you are fanning out instead of fanning in. Right? And another beautiful root cause analysis technique is fishbone diagram. It is also called as Ishikawa diagram. And what is the purpose of fishbone diagram? For example, again going back to product is delivered late to the customer is the problem statement. Now I wanted to understand the root cause, and that root cause can be across 6 M's. Like it could be one of them will be man, one of them is machine, material, mother nature, method, and measurement. So these are the major bones. And I'll ask what could go wrong with man? Is the person who is supposed to deliver the order. Okay, that person, okay, is sober. Maybe he's not having good time, and he has mistakenly ship mistakenly allotted that particular product to a wrong pin code. Gone. Example. Or method. It could be the shipping process which is used. Maybe instead of using it by air, they have selected by rail or by bus. Likewise, this fishbone diagram will help you understand or brainstorm with the team in terms of finding out what are the potential reasons why this particular product got delayed. Right? So using 5 whys and fishbone analysis, you can uncover why inefficiencies are existing in processes. And today we are referring to corporate sustainability reporting directive. In fact, in my last presentation during this summit, I spoke about corporate sustainability reporting directive in terms of how companies are focusing more in terms of procuring raw materials from sustainable vendors and making sure that the entire process is sustainable, so on and so forth. So here, in the lean perspective, sustainability is not just limited to eco-friendliness, but sustainability is more about if you are implementing some new process, how are you making it sustain? How are you making sure that it is used as planned forever until it gets changed? Right? So that is the sustainability in terms of, okay, I have created a new process, I'm implementing a standard practice, and then I'll come up with visual management, and then I will train the employees, and then there will be cultural shift. Okay, excellent. But how do you ensure people are not going back to the old process, or how do you ensure this process is continued forever? Right? For that also, control is a something, okay, which is one of the critical phases in the DMIC. Of course, this define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And however, out of all of them, in my opinion, apart from improve, control is the most important thing. Because if you have devised the new process, and if you are not ensuring that new process is followed, then whatever the effort that you have put in terms of building the new process will go in vain. That's why you need to have strong controls in place. Right? So these are the diagnostic questions. And now let us talk about some specific types of waste within the supply chain operations perspective. So, there are traditionally 7 skills. However, eighth skill got added. That's why I said 7 traditional waste, and the eighth waste is the skill. What is a skill? Nothing but employee talent. You hired somebody, okay, who is really, really good, okay, in say programming, but you gave them data entry job. Do you think they will be happy? They will not be happy, and they will do the job for the sake of it until they find another job. So likewise, if you are not recognizing the right talent in your organization and not assigning them the right job, that is the eighth waste, which is the skills. Now, what are the other ways, like overproduction, waiting, transportation, over processing, inventory, motion, and defects? So I know these words are jumbled. That's why what I'll do is I'm going to switch to the next slide, which
Input, huh?
has a easy definition. Okay, to remember. Abdulji,
Yeah,
can you see my screen?
yeah, 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 yeah. I can see.
Okay, all right. Okay, so easy way to remember 8 types of waste, right? Tim Woods. T for transportation, I for inventory, M for motion, W for waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, defect, and skills. We have already seen defect, and we have seen skills. So we'll come in the reverse order. Skills means not utilizing the people's talent. Somebody who is really good at programming, you are using them for data entry, which is a strict no-no, because people, there is a saying, right? If you take good care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers. That is really very very important, because once you treat your employees well, right, they'll become loyal, and the longer the tenure of employees within an organization, the better for the organization, right? And next one is the defect, something which is not conforming to the standard, right? Maybe I asked you to send a simple report, but you applied a wrong filter and you sent me the report. That report is useless to me. That is a defect. Next is over processing. I'll take the same example of sending the report. You sent me a report, okay, and I told you to extract 1,000 records, okay, last 1,000 records or 1,000 orders, and when you downloaded that 1,000 records, after that you beautified it, you added some nice graphics and all that, fancy colors, fonts, and everything. For me, I want that record, that particular report to be uploaded to a database, and the database doesn't care whether I'm using whether I'm using Arial font or Roboto font or Aptos font or which color, which format, all those things. It doesn't care. So anything that you are doing, okay, which is not going to, which is more than what customer requires, right? That is your over processing, right? Any extra step, any feature, any approval, any kind of polishing that you are doing, right? That is all over processing. Overproduction, we have already seen something producing more than needed, or if you are producing earlier than needed, right? So that is the biggest driver. That is the worst type of waste. Next is waiting. We have already discussed this also. Idle time, for example, you know, in some cases, people wait for the server to start. Have you seen that? Or they don't restart their laptops and computers on frequent basis, and suddenly on Monday morning there is a presentation and this person is trying to bring up the PowerPoint, and PowerPoint is not working because there is so much of cache which got utilized, and because of junk files and all, and now it requires a forced restart.
Hmm.
That is also wait. Or the time required to start a server is also wait, or time that is required wherein the machine is not maintained properly, and every time there is a breakdown, some operator has to come and fix it. Again there is a wait, right? Or in simple terms, you have waiting for the truck to deliver your shipment to the customer. That is a wait, right? Next is motion. Motion means, in agile world we refer to co-located teams, co-located teams, co-located teams. Where did it come from? The reason is very simple. If the project team is working in the same office, but people are sitting in different floors or different bays and all, let's assume, okay, I am working with a person named Santosh. Okay, Santosh is from database team, and I am from, hypothetically, and I am from Java team. And Santosh status is showing green on Teams. However, the moment I ping him, he is not responding. I get into a frustration saying that this fellow is not responding, and I call his cell, he is not attending. Okay. Instead, if I have the same Santosh sitting next to me as a project team, I don't have to move, or I don't have to get into that particular frustration. That's why in agile world, they focus on co-locating teams, so that if at all team members require help from others, they can tap their shoulder. They don't have to rely on technology, or they don't have to walk down the stairs and all. So any unnecessary movement by people, okay, in terms of searching for information or reaching the information or walking or anything that doesn't add value is your motion. And in supply chain world, let's assume, right, especially on the manufacturing plant or assembly plant, you have so much of raw material and some components, okay, and those components have to be placed near the operator, so that operator need not walk again back to the supermarket and come back. When I say supermarket, I'm not referring to Ratnadeep supermarket or DMart, but the supermarket which is available in the factory premises, which actually is fulfilling your component replenishment or something of that sort. That's why my strong recommendation is, if you have not been to any of the manufacturing plant, okay, go and visit the manufacturing plant. so that you will see these kind of things in action. For example, I've been to GE's healthcare plant way back in 2013 time frame when I was pursuing my black belt certification, and then I have seen Kanban in action. What happens there is the person who is responsible for assembling certain things, right? All the raw material, all the components that are required for this person to assemble that particular major component have everything in his place, so that he doesn't have to walk around the corner of that particular warehouse which is 100 or 200 meters away. Instead, everything is available here, and there is a Kanban card placed, which will give an indication in terms of how many items are left and how many he needs more, so that a person keeps on visiting the every assembly station to see how many people need raw materials, and he is the one who will supply the raw materials, so that I don't have to walk from my desk to that particular warehouse, right? So this is the motion, which is nothing but avoiding unnecessary movement, right? So in the IT world, I refer to co-located teams. That is a good example. Likewise, and in our manufacturing facility, what we have recently done is some of the components which are frequently used, right? We have brought them front in the front aisle, so that it will be easy for the operator or the person who is actually helping us with picking and putting it at the assembly point. So these are some small nuances which we overlook, right? But however, if implemented properly, they are going to give you wonderful results, right? So this is about your motion. And next one is inventory. Any excess raw material, work in progress, or finished goods, which tie up cash and which is going to hide problems. As I told earlier, like you have sourced a lot of raw material. Suddenly, raw material price has gone down or raw material has become obsolete. It is a waste, right? And then transportation, unnecessary movement of products. We refer to motion. The way you have to remember, M is man, movement of man, whereas transportation, here transportation is of goods or materials or some information between those processes. Right now, once you embrace these concepts, if you can clearly understand what is value added, what is non value added, what is business value added, and if you can find and identify any of these Tim Woods in your organization, and if you can fix them, you'll start creating wonders in terms of improving the cycle time, reducing the waste, so on and so forth. So, any questions on Tim Woods concept?
Fantastic. I think the way you explained how to apply lean for IT solutions, that makes a big sense.
Sure.
Yeah, in manufacturing, lean is very prevalent. We all
Yeah,
understand, and in the
and there
services,
is always a misconception.
and
Yeah,
yes, I totally agree with you that lean is not only for manufacturing. Lean can be applied everywhere.
correct.
You rightly
Yeah,
said,
and
and
I'm
it
the
is
living
important.
example.
Yeah,
I'm the living example. I've been part of different organizations, different teams, and I've been implementing it, right?
fantastic. Great insights, Naveen. Yeah.
Okay. So moving ahead now with regard to the tools that are required, right? You don't need fancy software or something. Majority of the lean tools you can Google and you will find it. For example, value stream mapping template, process mapping template, or lead time calculator, or Kanban cards. All of them are available, or 5i template, fishbone diagram. All of them are available. And in fact, there are some companies which have created like lean. I think I'm trying to recall. Um, what is the benchmark Six Sigma is one of the premier training organizations, and apart from that, Six Sigma made easy, and there are a few other sites.
There are
And
many.
in fact, one thing, yeah, there are many sites, okay, which will offer all the templates along with examples for free. And I want to, before I miss this, I want to also highlight you, right? Lean is not restricted to enterprises. Come in the country like United States, the governments of Minnesota, government of Ohio, they formally have a lean department. Even North Dakota, so those states already have a formal lean organization, and in fact, they run lean trainings and they certify people. and they have implemented lean principles in their citizen services also. Because once you know the beauty of lean, the miracles that it can do, right? You can really do miracles. That's why I became an evangelist of that, right? So, and then value stream mapping, it is going to give you clear and visual information flow along with material flow. And the purpose of this value stream mapping is it will help you identify the bottleneck in your process, and if there are any inefficiencies within your supply chain organization. When I say organization, all the underlying processes, direct procurement, indirect procurement, logistics, all different sourcing, different departments, and how the handshake is happening. Once you create the value stream, right, then you will start getting to know how bad our problem is. Majority of the companies, where they fail it, not questioning the status quo, especially all the age old organizations. They think, okay, gaadi chal raha hai, things are going on, and unless and until they come across problem, they don't question. But if you are a leader and if you are picking up a new department ownership or something, my strong recommendation is next time when you are shifting an organization or shifting it to a different department laterally or internally, question the status quo. Ask them, hey, you're saying this process is created, but tell me who are the consumers. What happens if I don't send that particular thing to my consumer? Is it going to lead to any revenue loss? If you start questioning in that way, but again, you have to be very careful. Don't question as if you are the superstar. You have to question out of curiosity, to genuinely understand the intent of a particular step or intent of a particular process. Then you will get to know if people have visibility, no visibility. And in majority cases, one standard answer that we will get: my predecessor told me to do that, I am doing it, and now I am done, I am telling you, you also do it. If that is the case, then there is a room for improvement, wherein you have to call for a Kaizen event kind of thing, or at least have a brainstorming discussion to get visibility to the entire end-to-end process. And in that case also, there will be many surprises. I've seen that in across different organizations. None of them will have end-to-end visibility, and they work in silos. And if they're working in silos, what happens? They're having myopic view of a process, and they always are thinking about, I should do everything right, and I don't care if others are not doing well, whatever it is. Only thing is I have to get the information straight and I have to be productive. No. Once you stop thinking about your own benefit, your own team benefit, and once you start thinking about organizational benefit, then things will start changing. One thing what I keep telling in my workshops internally and externally is, if you are calling for a brainstorming meeting, have equal composition of people. Okay, right, entry level to the senior most, right from equal composition. Possible, try to bring a person who is not at all related to that particular process. And in the brainstorming session, you first give the junior most employee the chance to speak. Let them speak, and you go up the hierarchy. Then you will start seeing some wonderful explanations, wonderful ideas. And most importantly, calling somebody who is totally new to your process, that fellow will come up with a brilliant questions which will blow your mind. And most importantly, when you are doing this exercise, keep your business card titles outside the conference and tell them, hey guys, we are here working in the best interest of the organization, in the interest of the customer. Now let us work together as a team. Then you will start seeing the difference. This is my strong recommendation. If at all you don't have visibility to the end-to-end process mapping, do that. And if possible, do value stream mapping, because the main difference between process map and value stream map is, in value stream map, you will get to know not only the culprit, but how bad the culprit is, right? That will take you a long way. Okay. And then 5S. This is again one of the simplest tools. 5S is nothing but sort, set in order, and then shine, standardize, and sustain. In simple terms, the best example of 5S is Go to a mechanic shop or a car service center. You'll find the toolbox, right? The shadow board out there. All the spanners are arranged in particular order, which means there is a place for everything and everything in place. And similarly, in the same service center, if you go, the place where the cars that are coming for service are put up in one place, and after that work in progress in one place, and after that ready for delivery in one place. So this is a 5S implementation. So similarly, in your say in your factory premises, okay, when you are about to ship your products, think about how efficiently you can organize so that it will be easy for somebody to pick up the item directly visually, and also to make sure that the place is standardized so that they can blindly go and pick up and put it for shipping. And another good example which I can tell you where 5S is implemented efficiently is your drugstores, the pharmacy, the medical stores. You know, every medical store will maintain some thousands of different drugs, different tablets, different medicines. But the moment you give a prescription, they'll be able to serve you in less than a minute. Why? Because they are implementing 5S. So 5S is already there. And when 5S is implemented there, why can't we implement it within our supply chain organization? Think, how can we make things visual? Right? And then you have this kaizen and continuous improvement, which is again not a one-time activity. It is something, a mindset, in my opinion. And last but not the least, Kanban and JIT principle. JIT is nothing but just in time. For those of you who are from IT world, you can relate to Java is known for just in time compilation, just in time interpretation. And the reason Java achieves high performances as and when a program line of code is interpreted, it is compiled and executed. And that's why it achieves so much of faster performance. And in the supply chain world, in simple terms, you need some raw material. If the raw material is being dumped from your supplier, okay, without you signaling, then what happens? You will end up building inventory. Instead, what I will tell is, hey, last time I incurred losses in terms of maintaining so much of inventory. From now on, I'm going to signal you 2 days in advance, saying that I need raw material, then only you ship it. This is in a nutshell what just in time means, right? It will minimize the inventory, and overall it will also promote the smooth demand supply flow. So actually I have a lot to cover, but due to time constraints I have to stop here. And one thing what I can offer is I have a free course called becoming a productivity monk, wherein all the lean concepts and in terms of how you can become a better individual are already available on my personal YouTube channel. Just search for Naveen Samala, and every Monday I'm posting one small snippet related to lean implementation, small 2 to 3 minute video on LinkedIn. Okay, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get it, or else you can follow me on LinkedIn. You'll get there. But yeah, I'll have to stop here, and maybe we can take questions for 2 or 3 minutes
Yeah.
in the interest of time.
So very interesting, and please share the details to Praveen. Maybe he will post it
Yeah.
on behalf of you. Okay, and yeah, it's very
Yep.
interesting. You made it very interesting topic. Okay, so very rarely I hear lean on non-manufacturing segment. It's very interesting. Actually, I
Yeah.
thought, okay, maybe I was let us see what you bring to the table. I know each time we talk to you, you will surprise Naveen. Okay, so very much. Thank you very much, Naveen. Really very
All right.
interesting. Okay, so thank you,
Sure. Sure.
ladies and gentlemen. Give a big round of applause to Naveen. And I know you have questions.
All
I
right.
know asking questions in YouTube is not something easy. Please make sure that you post questions in whatever format you can, and we make sure that those questions are get answered by Naveen Samala. And if you would like to, I strongly recommend to connect to him and then hear very interesting insights he keeps sharing. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you very much, and really a wonderful session. I
All right.
enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks everyone for your time and attention. And
Thank you, Naveen.
look
Thank you,
forward
and good
to
time
meet
and
you all
good luck.
soon. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Good luck.